So this is going to be a fairly short video, but I thought it was interesting. We're looking at what the federal response to I guess you can call it affordability crisis or the housing crisis. I don't know what you want to call it. But I mean, ultimately, what we're seeing in Canada is a housing shortage. That's simply it. There's a shortage of homes. There are more people that want homes than homes that are available. And this, of course, drives up the pricing, right? It's very simple in terms of what the problem is. Now, how to address that problem, that might be more complicated. Fundamentally, what we're dealing with is a supply side issue. We don't have enough homes, right? And there's a number of reasons for that. Now, what the federal government can do, maybe not much. Maybe there's really not much they can do. What they can try to do is temper the demand, is to soften the demand, right? And they do this by artificially inflating the cost of ownership, the cost to acquire the properties, right? So you take a look at people that have multiple properties. You can make it more difficult, more expensive to acquire investment properties, or with regards to, for instance, foreign ownership, any ownership they feel like can be detrimental to their, I guess, core constituency, right? Anything that could affect their core constituency's ability to purchase. So obviously, not everybody's a real estate investor. There are less people that are real estate. There are more people that are not real estate investors than are, right? So real estate investors are a minority of the population. So in terms of affecting their vote, affecting their or not necessarily looking at their vote, it makes sense, right? You can increase the cost for those folks, so that way you can try to lower the cost of acquisition for this other group, right? I think primarily looking at people that are first-time home buyers within Canada, those are the people that you're trying to support, right? For a number of different reasons. I think overall a societal stability is probably the main one, right? When people feel like they can't own their own homes, especially with such fast increases. It's one thing for this to be a development over time, but really we're seeing it not over generations. We're seeing it within the span of a few years. And this, of course, is due to a number of different policies. It's not just one thing that's leading to this issue, but ultimately all prices are a function of supply and demand, right? So it's just depends on what is creating the demand, what allows that demand to be strong, and what is creating the bottlenecks in supply, right? So one of the big bottlenecks is zoning, is where builders are allowed to build, and how long it takes them to be able to complete a project, to get a project from start to finish. These are just basic things, right? So this is what needs to be evaluated, and this should have been evaluated a long time ago. The reason I'm saying that is because they're saying there is maybe around 1 million home shortage, 1 million homes. So if there's based on what the demand is, so if there's 1 million home shortage and we're bringing in close to 400,000 new immigrants every year, that problem is not going to be addressed by making a few hundred homes, additional few hundred homes every year, even thousands of homes. It needs to be in the hundreds of thousands. It needs, in order to address it quickly, in order to also keep up with the increasing demand on the supply. Because of course, when people come here, they want to. For everybody I've known. Every person that immigrates to the country that I've known, they want to buy a house, and of course they do, and it should be completely within their ability to do so, right? I'm not saying they have to be able to do it right away, but I mean, that's a dream that a lot of folks have. They want to own their home and be able to have that kind of stability for themselves and their family. I mean, one of the reasons you come to Canada is for the stability, right? The greater cost, but the stability. Anyway, so I wanted to take a look at this article here. It's a short one in MPA Mag, Mortgage Professionals. I can't remember what the A stands for. Anyways, I don't think it doesn't really matter. What is it though? Anyway, the CMP. They used to be Mortgage Broker News. It changed over. Same group though. So anyways, the federal government is intending to take harsher measures against investment properties to help bring housing prices down to more reasonable levels, according to the housing minister Ahmed Hussein. Citing marching orders outlined in a letter from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Hussein said that the Liberal administration will be cracking down on flipping and foreign ownership of unoccupied homes. Now, the thing with flipping, I don't know why people really hate flipping, right? So what flippers do is I mean, from what I've seen, I've never engaged in a flip myself. I've known flippers. They typically what they go into, what they do is they go in, find undervalued properties, fix them up, and then sell them at the market price. Right. So, and then the difference between obviously the cost of fixing it up and the market price, the total cost of acquisition, fixing it up, and then the market price, that's their profit. They are taking homes that otherwise people wouldn't really be able to use, or maybe undesirable, right? And then they're turning them into something that's people can call home. Now, I honestly, I can't see how that is causing a supply shortage, because again, they are not trying to hold on to the property. They're not taking supply off the market. It's just temporary. I mean, the whole purpose is to buy, fix, and then sell, right? They're not really, so I don't see how I mean, a lot of people hear flipping and they just kind of think they have a negative connotation associated with it for whatever reason. But in terms of what it actually does, I can't see how it would increase prices long term, right? I mean, especially in the way in which they do acquire these properties. A lot of the time they're buying them cash, not before they even hit the market, right? They do door knocking. So if it's not even affecting the market price, they're just putting one more property on there at whatever they think they can sell it at. I don't know. I'm not sure if this is the one of the things that's truly affecting supply. I don't think this is one of the big rocks, right? Maybe it does have some effects, but is it something that needs to be focused on? I think there should be other priorities. I really can't see how that would be a main priority, like flipping. Now, if they want to take a look at foreign ownership of unoccupied homes, I can understand that, because I mean, unfortunately or fortunately, or however you want to view it, foreign ownership can be looked at as a negative, or it can be at least spun as a negative politically, right? So if you have folks that are bringing money into the country, using that to purchase a bunch of homes, and then not occupying that, you can very easily spin that negatively for the public. And I think it's probably one of the most palatable policy options is to take a look at unoccupied homes with foreign ownership. But the thing is, though, sophisticated there's sophisticated ways of mitigating that risk for foreign owners, right? So there's always going to be some sort of a loophole, or not. I don't want to say loophole, but there's always going to be a way around the rule, unless the way that they create the policy is going to be very broad, but most likely it won't. And who knows when this is even going to take effect, right? So, unless this is being done with what do you call it? with multiple parties, with getting feedback from multiple parties, and not just doing it on their own. I don't even know if we're going to be able to see any policy getting put forth to make any of these changes. So the government will review and revise as necessary the rules governing profits and down payments to discourage excessive profits, Hussein said. Now that is such a nonsense term, an excessive profit, because excessive profit is just going to be whatever is prescribed by the government. There's going to be no true basis for it. There's no true basis for a term called excessive profit. Is an excessive profit 5%, 10%, 20, 30? It's whatever they deem excessive. And I don't think that's a good way to build policy, is by using arbitrary terms and arbitrary numbers. But I mean, that's what we do. But I think it's just I personally don't like it. I feel like if we're going to build a framework, a decision-making framework, we should really try to minimize the arbitrary rules that we're putting in, right? So excessive profits. Any profit above yada yada is deemed to be excessive. Well, what's the rationale for that? Why is that? Why is 6 unacceptable but 5 is acceptable? That's the thing I never understood, right? I mean, why is 5.9 acceptable but 6 would be unacceptable, right? Personally, it doesn't make that much sense to me. And what's not even so much that it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make sense, period. So we take a look. So the government will review and revise excessive profits. The point is to reduce the speculative demand in the market and help cool these astronomical increases in prices, Hussein told the Canadian press. It's really interesting. They want to be able to reduce the prices without making any substantial changes to policy. I mean, you know, even in the face of inflation, we still won't increase our interest rates. Right? I mean, I don't know. Like, I think there must be something going on here where normally that's just the reaction that you would expect to see. But I guess they're expecting it to be transitory again, even though they said it's not going to be transitory. It's no longer transitory inflation. Anyway, I guess we'll see what 2022 has to hold. But so there has to be a national conversation. Sorry. Additionally, the government will likely apply pressure on municipal level policymakers who might be inclined to yield to the this is 100% the issue. It is crazy the amount of developments that do not occur because of this. Right? We are not seeing supply come online because, well, I mean, there's a number of reasons, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that, we have low interest rates. So does it make sense to hold on to the land development and then sell it later on when the prices are going to increase, when you know the prices are going to be greater in the future than they are today, right? Or does it make sense to build today and, forego those future profits, right? But also, too, they're just not given any opportunity to build or where they can build. So a lot of it just, I don't know. It feels like we just shoot ourselves in the foot with what we want. We want prices to be lower, but we don't want new developments coming into the area. How can we have both? Right? We want green conservation, but we want lower prices because we want more housing supply. Well, how can you have both? Realistically, you have to have trade-offs. There are always trade-offs. If you want housing, if you want lower pricing on new homes, then there has to be a trade-off. There's a trade-off somewhere, right? They need to start encouraging new developments. They need to start encouraging new developers. They need to start encouraging areas in which they can be developed, which new developments can occur. This stuff needs to start happening. Right? Or else we're just going to continuously see housing prices go up because nobody wants to sell. Why would you sell your house right now? First of all, the price is going to go up in 3 to 6 months. So unless you actually are forced to sell or have to sell, you're not going to sell because where else are you going to go? right? The difference between the core like GTA areas and the outside the GTA, the pricing isn't that different anymore. It's getting closer, right? The difference is getting smaller and smaller. So even the benefit you would have normally had from selling your home and then moving to an area, like if you say you're in the GTA, moving to like a Woodstock or London, I mean that's been minimized, right? So if there's no benefit of moving, then you're not going to sell. So that's going to keep, like, that's another reason why supply is low. Nobody's selling their homes because there's no reason to sell. There's more reason probably not to sell than to sell. So the incentives are screwed up as well. There's a lot of issues with the housing market. I mean, it's just a dysfunctional market altogether, right? Prices are going up. People are putting every penny together to make the purchase, the down payment, and then we have to hope and pray that prices don't correct once the interest rates start to go up, right? So yeah. Anyways, that's my thoughts on this situation. I mean, it's I don't want to say it's grim, but because people are obviously, they're still buying homes, right? Young people are still getting into the market. Where they just have to look outside of the main areas, and changing jobs and being uncomfortable for a while is probably a necessity, right? So in order to get your foot on the ladder, that's just, I guess, what it's going to have to be. A lot of these remote jobs are helping, right? You can now be anywhere in the country. You can you can have a good paying job and live out in places that historically have a lot lower housing prices, right? That's why out east they're seeing historic levels of intra-province immigration, right? So there's a lot of people moving from province to province to get to capture those lower housing prices and benefit from that. But as that happens, the prices will rocket in these areas as well, right? And then the difference again will diminish, and the benefit of going from one place to another will also diminish along with that. So long term, we need strategies around building proper supply of housing, monitoring the supply of housing, and I don't know why that hasn't already been the case. Like monitoring the supply of what you want to quote unquote affordable housing. I mean, you want affordable housing, you just have an adequate supply of housing, right? In the diverse diversity of areas, right? So it's not all luxury housing. Anyways, that's everything for me. That's my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And yeah, hope you have a great rest of your day.